All right, in this lesson, we will look at word problems, especially word problems that have linear equations. So there's a couple of things that we need to know about linear equations. First, what do they look like? The form that they will be in. So it will be in the form y equals m, which is your slope, times x plus b. Okay, so the slope is the rate of change, meaning how is your equation either increasing or decreasing. And then the b represents the y-intercept, okay? Or in other words, what is the initial amount, okay? Or we can also look at it as the constant amount. Okay, so these two words are really important, and also the rate of change, either it's increasing or decreasing. All right, now that we have this, let's go ahead and look through these examples. We have Jorge's cell phone plan costs $20 each month plus $15 per minute. So it looks like $15, 15 cents is the slope, okay, it's per minute, and then $20 is the y-intercept. Once you have these two, you can go ahead and write your equation. So you have $15 per minute, so we'll just use x to say per minute, plus the $20 fee, okay? Not $200, $20 fee. All right, if his bill for the month is $84.20, how many minutes did Jorge use? Remember, the minutes is basically what x represents. So we're trying to find x here. So if his bill was $84.20, we can go ahead and solve this for x, and then that's it. To solve for x, we can put this in Desmos, or yeah, actually let's go ahead and put it in Desmos. So in Desmos, we will, as long as you put the equation, once you have it, figured out what it is, you can plug it in Desmos and then it will solve it for you. And then that will be it, equals 0.15x plus 20. Kind of zoom out. There it is. So it's going to be 428 minutes. So x equals 428 minutes. So that's what he used. Okay? All right. Well, before I go on to the next problem, let's just it's always good to check if our answer even makes sense. So let's see, if he used 10 minutes of cell phone time and then he pays 15 cents a minute plus the $20 fee, that means his bill was only $21. We're looking for a bill that was $84.20. Let me look at the other options. C or B is 64 minutes times 15 cents plus $20. So that's about $30 right there. That doesn't work. If you use 428 minutes and then he paid 15 cents a minute plus the $20 fee, so there you go, that's $84.20. So we know that this answer makes sense. All right, for the second one, it says it costs $12 per game. I don't know where I got 12 from. $2.50 per game. So this looks like my rate of change. So that's my slope. And she will need to rent a pair of bowling shoes for $1.50. Okay, so this looks like my initial amount, or my y-intercept. Okay, so those two are the same thing. Again, this is the same thing as saying the slope, which is m, and the initial amount is the same thing as saying the y-intercept, where it crosses the y-axis, and that's b. Okay, yeah, that's what that is. And she can spend up to $16 to bowl. So if she has $16 she can spend, we want to see how many games that she can play. So if she pays $2.50 per game, plus to rent her shoes is just $1.50. Let's see what we get for x. I'm just gonna, again, once I have my equation, it's just much better to just plug it in Desmos and see what our answer looks like. So that's $16, and then that's $2.50 x plus $1.50. So it looks like she can bowl up to 5.8, but we can't really have 0.8 games. It has to be a whole number. So she can go ahead and bowl up to 5 games, because 6 games would be too much, right? If she bowled 6 games. So again, let's see if our answers make sense. So you have four games times $2.50 a game, plus to rent her shoes is $1.50, so that she would have to pay $11. She can afford that. What if it's 5 games? She would pay 5 games. She would pay $14. She has $16, so that works. But if she plays 6 games, that's $16.50. She doesn't have the 50 cents, so 6 games would be too much. Okay. All right. A repairman estimates the cost of fixing a computer is at most $225. So a customer won't pay more than $225. The estimate includes $35 for the part, plus $40 for the fee, and plus $30 per hour. Okay. What is the maximum amount of hours? Okay, so basically whatever they're paying has to be less than or equal to $225. So let me go ahead and graph it. So $35 plus $40 plus $30 per hour, and then that has to be less than or equal to 225. Okay, so it looks like they can do 5, so x has to be 5 hours worth of work. Okay, so 5 hours. Okay, all right. Christy is making a rectangular quilt, so let me just go ahead and draw a rectangular quilt. If the quilt is 2 feet longer than it is wide, so basically you have your width and then you have your length, and they're saying that the length is 2 feet longer than the width. So we know that the perimeter of any rectangle is 2 times your length plus 2 times your width. Okay, 2 times your length is, we're just going to go ahead and substitute that in, plus 2 times your width, and they tell me that the perimeter is 32 feet. Okay, so we can go ahead and solve this equation and find our width, and I'm going to go ahead and use Desmos for this again. So to solve this, we know that we can go ahead and plug it in Desmos, but the only thing is Desmos will help us only if we put x, because if we put w like I just did, then it won't really give us, it'll give us an error. So it's expecting us to graph something, so we need to just go ahead and change this back to x, and then there you go. So 7. Well, that means that if my width is 7, okay, so my dimension for here is 7. And then notice that the length is 2 feet longer than the width, so that means that it's going to have to be 2 feet longer than 7, so that would have to be 9. So it's going to be 7 by 9. Okay. All right. Next one. So the Arcadia Theater charges $4 for the adult ticket, $3 for the student ticket. If Mr. Steele purchased 9 tickets, and we don't know how many are adult and how many are student, and he paid $31 for it, which system of equations could be used for A, the adult tickets, and S for the student tickets? Okay, well, there's 2 things here. There's $4 for adult ticket, so 4A, okay, and then $3 for student tickets. So for S, that's a S. When we add them together, he paid $31. Okay, so that's our first equation. The second equation comes from the fact that he has 9 tickets. So adult ticket plus student tickets, he has 9 tickets total, whereas he paid $4 and then $3 for student, and then he paid a total of $31. So you put the money part together and the number of tickets that he purchased together. Okay. All right, the last one here is, it says that Frank works at a convenience store. He earns $7.50 per hour to work the daytime shift. So it looks like it's $7.50 for the daytime. So you can see that the x-axis looks at the daytime in all of my answer choices right here. Okay, and then we have $12.50 per hour for the nighttime. So for the nighttime, it looks like it's going to be for the Y. Okay. That's important because I need to now go ahead and write my equation. So if he is $7.50 for the daytime plus $12.50 for the nighttime, and he wants to earn at least $300 per week. So which means that whatever he works, whatever he earns has to be greater than or equal to $300. Now that I have this equation or this inequality, I can go ahead and put it in Desmos and then see which one matches the graph. So I'm going to plug this in just the way it is. Plus 12.5y has to be greater than or equal to 300. There it is. So it looks like it's going through about 24 and then 40. 24 and 40. Let's see, 24 and 40. And then this is also 24 and 40. But then it's being shaded above. Okay, it's being shaded above. So there you go. Answer choice C. All right, thank you.